Jonathan here, and welcome back as we're about to enter into our next room, the heart. So before we begin, there really isn't a lot of issues to go over from the T-junction passage, well, except maybe one. Think out your strategy and movement beforehand. Everyone seems to always want to be in a rush to get to the front of the pack, and due to this, the gunslinger ended up being at the back of the pack, even though she made a comment to everyone to stay in the same formation, and was still on the cryo chamber map tile when the heroes started to move onto the T-junction passage. So since the gunslinger was first to activate in initiative order, she couldn't move off of the cryo chamber map tile due to the bandita and the saloon girl blocking her. And due to that blocking, the gunslinger is now one step closer to mutating. So keep in mind of those that activate before you and either wait another turn so they can move around you or leave an opening available for them. Next is the recap. Yvette, our gunslinger, she started out on the cryo chamber map tile and couldn't move onto the T-junction passage due to the bandita and the saloon girl blocking her. Due to this blocking, after her movement, she took a corruption hit, which then turned into a corruption point, so now she is one step closer to mutating. Her movement is not the greatest due to her -3 to her movement because of her mutation and her injury. It took her 4 turns to get to the end of the T-junction passage map tile, and probably could have gotten to the end in about 2 turns if not affected by the mutation and the injury. Shauna, our saloon girl, though she is fast on the move, she really dropped the ball for holding back the darkness. She rolled 2 sets of doubles, double 2s, Dark Dread, which produced a Growing Dread card and added that to the stack, and double 5s, Echoes of Death, where one random hero took 2d6 horror hits. Sam, our U.S. Marshal, there's no issue with Sam's movement getting to where she wanted to go, but the Targa Plateau's weather effect had a different idea in mind as it caused 1 wound twice as Sam rolled 1s for her movement. And thanks to Shauna not being able to hold back the darkness, Sam took a good chunk of sanity damage after seeing ghostly figures moving through the halls. But later on, luckily, she had a bottle of whiskey with her, and she downed it and felt 100% better. Angela, our bandita, she also moved up quickly and did some scavenging. She found nothing, and then found a hideous discovery, which produced a good chunk of sanity damage. Quickly following, though, she downed some whiskey, but only felt about 83% better. So that's going to end the recap for our heroes and the T-junction passage. And last is the XP money update. Overall, the saloon girl and the bandita were the only ones that really did anything to increase their XP or money. Our gunslinger Yvette, she is still at 420 XP and $990. Our saloon girl Shauna, she started out with 355 XP. Used her comforting presence 2 times, so she is now at 365 XP. She started out with $725, so she is still at $725. Our U.S. Marshal Sam, she is still at 585 XP and $650. And finally, our bandita, Angela, she started out with 415 XP, obtained some XP from scavenging, so she is now at 435 XP. She started out with $325, so she is still at $325. So with the boredom of the T-junction passage behind them, and the next room found, the heart, join our heroes as they are just starting up the next step. Step 3, room exploration. So with step 3, room exploration, we'll go ahead and start out by revealing the exploration token. See what we got here. And we have a portal and attack. So the first thing we're going to do is find out where our portal is at. So we take the map tile card here and we'll roll a d6. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, 6 will be the location of that portal. And we got a 4. So that means the portal is going to be right here. So let me go ahead and get a portal and 2 end caps. Okay, so here's our portal. And then 1 end cap up here. And the other end cap down below. Alright. And next thing we're going to do is we're going to find out who is attacking us. So normally you would draw from this threat deck, which is a medium threat deck because there are 3 to 4 heroes involved. But because we are in the Targa Plateau, which is an otherworld, then we're going to be using this deck, which is the Otherworld threat Targa Plateau. And we'll go ahead and just draw a card, and we'll see what we got. And we got Targa Pylons. And it says, ancient alien pylons carved from stone and powered by the pure energy of its dark stone core. Okay, well, you don't have the color yellow there showing the medium threat deck, but what you do have is these colors here, green, yellow, and red, which is for your low, medium, and high threat deck. Plus up here it says heroes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it means that the Targa Pylons, we have a medium, because there's 4 heroes, and it's going to be 2 Targa Pylons. So in the first Shadows of Brimstone's core box, City of the Ancients, the Targa Pylons, they are actually represented by 2 circular markers. So there are no models for these Targa Pylons. So we just use these 2 markers, and we'll go ahead and place them right down here. One will be there, the other one will be right there. And then let's go ahead and look at the enemy record sheet. For the Targa Pylons, it has a keyword of hazard, and it's large with an initiative of 4, and it's got 3 abilities here. Immobile, it cannot be moved. Stonework, critical hits only reduce a Targa Pylon's defense to 2 rather than 0. Normally when you roll a 6, that's a critical hit, and it'll bypass that defense, but instead this 4 will only drop to a 2. And then its attack is a burning laser, and it is a ranged attack. You can see range 3+, there's no melee. It's got a range of 12, 1 shot, damage of 2. And you probably think, oh, that's not that bad. But then it says, each of a Targa Pylon's ranged hits counts as D6 hits. So if it's going to hit you, you're going to roll a d6 to find out how many hits are going to occur. And it could go up to a total of 12 damage. Alright, so it's got that range of 3+. Hey, we got a defense of 4 and a health of 8. And your XP is 15 plus 5 each. And you got yourself the elite chart. And on the back is the brutals. Alright. So that is the Targa Pylon's enemy record sheet. And then to represent the Targa Pylons on the initiative track, I'm going to use the same tokens that I got from that one person. And here's the token for the Targa Pylons. And it's got an initiative of 4. And our U.S. Marshal and Saloon Girl is initiative of 4. And when an enemy is tied with a hero, the enemy goes first. So we're going to put them right there. So let's go ahead and just clean up the area here. So that is going to end step 3, which is our room exploration. So now we have 2 Targa pylons in there ready to battle. And let's go ahead and move on to step 4. And if there's any kind of cards or special abilities, then we'll go ahead and do those. And Shauna's got her comforting presence. And everyone is around Shauna this time. So let's see here. Our gunslinger, she's good to go. She has no damage. And our U.S. Marshal, she's going to go ahead and remove 1 wound. And our Bandita, she's going to go ahead and remove 1 wound. So that's going to end it for step 4 and turn 21. So let's go ahead and continue on with turn 22. Now before we continue on, here's a question for you. Who wants to fight against a flat enemy? Well, not these ladies. As you can see, the Targa pylons are standing tall and large and ready to start blasting. So here's the Targa pylons. And if you'd like to, you can go ahead and check out the playlists, unboxing and also miniature assembling for the unboxing and assembling of these Targa pylon models. Now just a reminder, I did mention to you in an earlier video that these Targa pylon models are not included in the Shadows of Brimstone's core box, City of the Ancients. Even though there are 2 circular markers in the box, you will have to buy these Targa pylon models. Well, with everything good to go, let's go ahead and continue on with turn 22. Let's go ahead and move our first player marker back up to the gunslinger. And then have our saloon girl, Shauna, hold back the darkness. Alright, 7 on the button. So she passed the hold back the darkness. Now she needed a 7 to hold back the darkness because the hero posse marker is on that 11 space. Next room they go into, it's going to move to the 10 space, and then she's going to need an 8+ to hold back the darkness. So let's go ahead and have our heroes activated in initiative order. And our gunslinger Yvette, she's up first. So she's going to go ahead and do her movement. Okay, she got a 1. Alright, well that's going to do a couple things. First of all, she's going to get a grit for that. Now she is maxed out on grits at the moment. She's got a max grit of 2. So this grit is going to be used to do an extra movement. The other thing is the frigid snow effect for the weather is going to go into effect. So she's going to end up getting 1 automatic wound with no defense roll. But she does have that mutation fused with rock, which gives her an armor 4+. So we'll see if that armor can stop back this cold. Okay, she got a 2, so that is a no. So her gunslinger, she's going to take 1 wound because of that cold. So she has 1 wound on her right now. And then we're going to go ahead and roll for the extra movement there of the grit. And she gets a 6. Okay, well, she has the crisp rose that says anytime you roll a 6 for move, you may also recover 1 grit. Now, though the gunslinger has the crisp rose, which would get her a grit because of that 6 roll, she cannot get a grit since a grit roll is adding extra movement and not a move roll per se. So she's not going to get another grit. Instead, she's going to get the 6 minus the 3 because of the mutation and injury. So she's got the 3 for movement and then that 1 at the beginning. So it's a total of 4. Now before Yvette moves, she says, well, look as if those tall structures seem to be guarding something on the other side of that portal. Great job on picking that direction, Shauna. We'll soon be able to get that flora and fauna and head on back to town and start your freedom. Let's take them out. So she's going to go ahead and do her movement. She's got a 4. Goes 1, 2, 3, now 4. She's going to move over here where she is out of line of sight of the target pylons. Now, while Yvette moves into the room and off to the side, before she moves out of the line of sight from those tall stone structures, she notices a circular area on the front face at the top of those structures beginning to glow. And then beams of light begin to start pulsing outward. Well, looks like those pylons are starting to power up. Okay, so she's going to end her movement there. And actually, when Yvette stops moving there, she begins feeling this cascading energy surging under her feet. And what's going to happen is this encounter card here that is remaining in play, called Heart of the City, on the bottom it says, any hero ending their move on this map tile takes 2 hits from the cascading energy surges. Okay, so she's going to take 2 hits, and it doesn't say anything about no defense rolls or ignoring defense. So she has a defense roll of 5. So let's see what she gets. Alright, 5 and a 4. So she avoids that one. This one, her armor from her mutation fused with rock is going to try and stop that one. So she's going to need a 4 plus. Well, she gets a 1. Alright, that's going to give her another wound. So now she has 2 wounds on her. Alright, so now Yvette is going to go ahead and attack. And she did move in an area where she is out of line of sight. But in the cylinder of her pistol, she does have 2 ricochet shots. So she's going to use her pistol's 2 shots and shoot those to see if she can ricochet the bullet off the side walls and hit one or both of those target pylons. So she's going to need a 3 plus to hit. Nice. She gets the 3. She gets a critical. So let's go ahead and roll for just the damage. She gets a 4. Now on the enemy record sheet for the target pylons, it says they have a defense of 4. And also up here it says stonework. Critical hits only reduce a target pylon's defense to 2 rather than 0. So this normal damage is not going to go through. Now on this one, it's going to be reduced by 2. And we'll say that the one in the back gets hit from the ricochet. Alright, well, 6. 6 is good. So 6 minus the 2 is a 4. So the target pylon in the back is going to get 4 wounds on it. And it has a health of 8, so it is half down. Alright, that's going to end Yvette, our gunslinger's turn. Next up are the target pylons. Okay, the target pylons, they only have a range attack. Now, the target pylons are among the few enemies, about 1/3 of them, that have a range attack, whether alone or with melee. Now, in the rulebook on page 29, in the section Enemy Ranged Attacks, subsections Targeting Heroes and Movement, and Ranged or Melee, here you can find the information regarding ranged attacks. Now, unless stated elsewhere, here are some things to know for enemies that use a range attack. Enemies randomly choose their target based on range and line of sight instead of the normal move and a clear path to the farthest side of a hero. But of course, the target pylons cannot do the latter as it is an immobile enemy. Ranged attacks are randomly retargeted every turn, but targeting adjacent heroes first. Enemies do not move unless there are no viable hero targets for them to attack, i.e. the hero is around the corner. The enemy will then move toward the nearest hero until they are in range and line of sight, then select a target. But once again, in the case of the target pylons, they won't move as they are an immobile enemy. And finally, if an enemy has both a range and a melee attack, it will only make a melee attack if the hero is adjacent to it. So in other words, the enemy will not move to a hero to make a melee attack. It will stay put and make a random ranged attack. Okay, so our target pylons are up, and they have a range of 12. Well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, all the way to the back row, so no problem there. They have the range, that's no problem. Line of sight, okay, Yvette, our gunslinger, she moved off to the side, so she is out of line of sight. So that means that only the 3, which is our Saloon Girl, U.S. Marshal, and our Bandita, they are the only 3 that could be able to be shot by the target pylons. So I'm going to go ahead and roll a d6, and 1, 2 for Shauna, 3, 4 for Sam, and 5, 6 for Angela. And that will be from the target pylon in the front. Alright, 2, so that is Shauna. She's going to get shot at by that first target pylon. Then the target pylon in the back, they're going to go ahead and shoot at the other 2. So odd is going to be for Sam, and even will be for Angela. Okay, odd it is. So Sam is going to get shot at. So the first one's going to go up against Shauna. And just to show that the target pylons are up, we'll go ahead and move that first player marker. Okay, so the target pylons got a to hit of range 3+. Let's see if they hit Shauna. 1, okay, it doesn't. This light shoots out and pew, pew, crashes into the side of the wall, and rocks go flying all over the place. So that one misses Shauna. She doesn't have to worry about that. The other target pylon that's in the back, that one's going to go ahead and shoot at Sam. Alright, 3, so it just barely makes it. And what happens is, each of a target pylon's ranged hits counts as a d6 hit. So it hit Sam. Now we have to roll a d6 to see how many of this light ray that came out of the target pylon, how many did it split into? Whoa, okay, this was a good one. So the ray splits into 6 different little mini rays, and it's shooting right at Sam. And now Sam's got to go ahead and use her defense against that, which is going to be 6 of them at a 3+. And for each one that she misses, she's going to end up getting 2 points of damage. Okay, so she gets 1, 1, 2, 4, 5, 6. So she gets half. So 3 of them hit, 3 of them don't. So, question's going to be, you know what Sam's going to do? She's going to go ahead and, before she starts up, she was puffing on this cigar that says, once per adventure, prevent all damage done to you from a single source. So that 6 points of damage, she's going to go ahead and avoid that. She's going to prevent all that damage. Alright, so she doesn't have to worry about that, so she's doing pretty good. Alright, well, next up is going to be Shauna, our Saloon Girl. So she's going to go ahead and do her move. She gets a 4. Okay, she's got the fast ability, so she's going to be moving 5. And she needs to get close because all she has are those holdout pistols that only shoot at a range of 3. But before she moves, she says, "Okay, Charlie, let's see if this contraption works." Shauna finishes attaching her holdout pistol to some small metal contraption being held to her right forearm by some leather straps. She gives her right arm a circular snap upward, and the contraption flings about, ejecting any loaded bullets, loading in new bullets, then cocking the hammer on her holdout pistol before it lands firmly into her right hand. Shauna looks back at Sam and Angela, smiles and murmurs, "Oh yeah," before lunging forward into the room to close the gap between her and those structures, since she only has a range of 3 on those holdout pistols. So she's got a 5 movement. Let's go up here, 1, 2, 3. We'll go 4 right there. So she's within 2 spaces. That's pretty good. Okay, so she's going to go ahead and fire her holdout pistols. She's got that repeating holdout pistol that Angela gave her, and then her normal pistol. So we're going to start with that normal holdout pistol. She gets a free attack on that one, so she's going to go ahead and shoot. She needs a 4+. Now, that one goes flying off to the side. Pew, pew, pew. Alright, now she's going to go ahead and use normal attacks. So she's going to shoot both these holdout pistols. We're going to go ahead and shoot just the regular one because it has 1 shot. Oh, she misses on that also. Pew! The repeating holdout pistol, that one's got 2 shots on it. And remember, because she is holding a pistol in each hand, she won't be able to get criticals. So let's see what happens with this one. So she shoots twice. Well, see, she would have got a critical on the 5, but she barely makes the other one. So she gets 2 hits. And we'll see what she does for damage. She's going to shoot at the one that is not damaged. Okay, well, this one's not going to make it, the 5, and it's got a defense of 4, so that one only gets 1 damage. So she finishes up that shot, and one thing I forgot here was the Heart of the City encounter card here. So she takes 2 cascading energy surges underneath her feet. She's got a defense roll of 3+. She makes 1, she fails the other one. So she's going to take 1 point of damage. And so she'll take 1 wound. That gives her 3 wounds on her right now. And with that, that is going to end her turn. Okay, next up is our U.S. Marshal. And she's way back there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. She's going to shoot at the other one that's farther away. That's 7. And she's got her hunting rifle out. And that's going to be +2 damage on that. So she's going to go ahead and do her movement. And she gets a 1. So she'll get a grit, but she's max grit out. And then the weather effect is going to affect her. So she's going to take 1 point of damage. So she'll take 1 wound. So she has 4 wounds on her right now. And then she goes ahead and fires at that target pylon way in the back. She needs a 4+. Oh, critical, nice. So she gets the critical, and then she's going to shoot +2 damage on that. And she gets a 3. So 3 and 2 is 5, but it's got that 4 defense, so it's only going to take 1 wound. Alright, bummer on that. Okay, well, whoops. Alright, go ahead and move that first player marker down. Alright, so that's going to end our U.S. Marshal's turn. And finally is our Bandita, Angela. So she's going to go ahead and do her movement. And she gets a 2. Now because of the frigid snow, the 2 is going to give her a grit, but she's maxed out. And she's going to go ahead and start moving forward, but then Sam grabs a hold of her and says, "Remember what happened last time we were in this room after we finished moving?" Angela acknowledges with a nod of her head and says, "Okay." Alright, so she's going to attack the closest one right there and give it 2 shots. So she needs a 5+. Well, she got 1. Alright. We'll see what she gets for damage. And she gets a 5. Okay, well, the target pylon's got a defense of 4. So that means it's only going to take 1 wound. There we go. So now it has 2 wounds. And they have a health of 8. So the farthest one back needs 3 more wounds before it is destroyed. And the closest one needs 6. Alright, well that's going to end Angela, or Bandita's turn, and end of step 2. Next is step 3, room exploration. And they already explored the room, which brought up 2 target pylons. So we're going to go ahead and move on to step 4, end of the turn. And if anyone's got any cards or abilities to use at this time, they can do that. And normally Shauna does her comforting presence, but there's no one around her. So with that, no one's going to be able to get healed up 1 wound or 1 sanity. So with that, that's going to end step 4 and turn 22. So let's go ahead and move on to turn 23. Now before we continue on, looks like the Targa Plateau isn't bringing in that much new snow to this room. Just enough to change the Targa pylons a little bit, as I went ahead and primed the Targa pylons with gray instead of the black and white combo I usually do, which depicts the shadow and highlighted areas. So here's the Targa pylons. So I figured I would be painting the Targa pylons gray, so why not just use a nice gray primer? If you'd like to, you can go ahead and check out the playlist, Miniature Painting, for the updates on the miniatures that I'm going to be painting for all my games. Now, I just thought of this. Sam got a critical with her hunting rifle last turn, and for some reason, I still gave the Targa pylon a defense of 4 instead of a 2, which is what it should have gotten since it has the ability Stonework. So because of that, the farthest Targa pylon is going to get 2 more damage. So now it has a total of 7 wounds, and 1 more, it's going down. Plus, I looked over at Shauna's gazillion items that she has and saw that she had a starting upgrade card, Acrobatic Dodge, which gives her the ability to reroll 1 failed defense roll since she failed against one of the surging cascading energies from the Heart of the City encounter card. So let's go ahead and reroll that 1 defense roll to see if she does not get zapped. Shauna's got a defense of 3+, so let's see if she makes it. Alright, she got a 2. Alright, looks like Shauna is still going to get zapped. Okay, so now let's go ahead and continue on with turn 23. Let's go ahead and move our first player marker back up to the gunslinger, and then have our saloon girl hold back the darkness. Okay, she gets a 6, and that is 1 less than what she needs. She needed to get a 7, so because of that, the darkness marker is going to move up to space number 7. So let's go ahead and move on to our initiative order. And first up is our gunslinger, Yvette. And she's going to go ahead and do her movement. And she gets a 3. So she knows she's got to move because she's out of ricochet shots. So she needs to get in line of sight. So she's just going to move 1 over. And those lights that the tall structures there were flashing out now starts to hit her, so she knows that she has line of sight to any of those Targa pylons. Plus, she knows that those tall structures have a line of sight to her. So Yvette is going to go ahead and attack, and she's going to shoot twice at the closest Targa pylon, and she's going to need a 3+. Okay, she gets a 1 and a 4. So she makes one of them with the 4. She doesn't make the other one. So let's see how much damage she does. Alright, so she gets 3 damage. But those Targa pylons got that defense of 4. So she's going to go ahead and use one of these Deadeye shots. And that's going to give her a +2 damage. So now she's going to get total of 5 damage, which is going to put only 1 wound after that defense of 4 onto that Targa pylon. So this is going to end Yvette's turn. After Yvette is finished with her turn and seeing those structures shooting out those lights, This reminds her of a time when the campfire got so smoky that the lantern light could not shine through. So with that, she reaches into her side bag and she pulls out a flash token. And then she's going to go ahead and throw it right down here in front of those structures, and it explodes into a thick cloud of smoke. So in the rulebook on page 35, at the bottom of the side bag tokens section, you can find the information regarding the flash token. The flash token is going to give all enemies a -2 to their initiative until the end of the turn. So with that, we're going to redo the target pylon's initiative, which is 4, and that's going to drop to a 2. And our bandita, she has an initiative of 3, so that's going to take the target pylon and put them all the way to the bottom of the initiative order. And then with a reminder here, I went ahead and made up a -2 initiative flash card, and I'll slide that right underneath the target pylon's token. And then I'm going to go ahead and grab a couple more flash tokens, and I'll put one right next to the target pylon's token, and then I'll put one up where it was at before, just as a reminder. So this is definitely helpful if you think that it's the last turn for the enemies, and you can put them in the last initiative order. This way you can kill them off before they have a chance to attack and cause some damage to any heroes that turn. Alright, well that's going to end Yvette's turn. Next up is Shauna's turn, and she's going to go ahead and move. Alright, so she gets a 4, so she's just going to stay there. And then next she's going to go ahead and attack. Now before she attacks, she's got the upgrade Sleight of Hand. And what that does, for 1 grid, it lets her ready a once per fight item. So she's going to go ahead and ready this holdout pistol, which is free attack once per fight. And there's her grit that she's going to use. And so that contraption on her right arm, that's just thematically where she flips it around, he ejects bullets, put new bullets in, and it cocks the hammer back. And so that is actually the using of the Sleight of Hand ability. So Shauna's going to attack, and she's going to go ahead and attack the front target pylon. So she's going to use the free attack on her holdout pistol. And she misses. Now she's going to use the attack regularly. And she misses on that one. And then she's going to use the repeating holdout pistol, which can shoot twice. And okay, well, she got 1. Now let's see how much damage she does to that one. And she gets a 3. Okay, well, that's not enough to get past the defense, so that's not going to affect the target pylon there in front. And after missing 3 out of the 4 shots, Shauna looks at that contraption and says, "Okay, Charlie, we're going to have to readjust this contraption. It's pulling to the right." Okay, next up is going to be Sam, or U.S. Marshal. And she's way back there, and she's got her hunting rifle all sighted up on that front target pylon right there. So she's going to go ahead and do her movement. And she's a 5, so she's just going to stay there. And then she goes in and shoots. She needs a 4. And she gets a 5. Excellent. So she hits the target pylon just as soon as some of the smoke cleared. She sees a spot and she takes her shot. And she's going to end up doing +2 damage on this. Oh, total of 5. So that defensive 4 from the target pylon is going to go ahead and only give him 1 damage. So now the target pylon is at, we got 4 wounds, so it's halfway there. So that's going to end Sam's turn. Next up, we have our bandita, Angela. She's going to go and do her movement. And 3, so she's just going to stay there. And then she's going to fire her pistol, which is 2 shots, and she's going to fire it at the closest target pylon. And She sees the break in smoke and she fires. She needs a 5+. The smoke came back over and clouded her vision and she missed. Alright, so that's going to end it for our heroes. And last up is going to be the target pylons. So the smoke finally clears, the lights start flickering out. So they're going to go ahead and target 2 random heroes. So we're going to use a D8 and 1, 2 for the gunslinger, 3, 4 saloon girl, 5, 6 U.S. Marshal, 7, 8 bandita. 1, 2. Okay, Yvette, I guess you shouldn't have stepped out there. So all of a sudden, on the front one here that she shot at, the lights flicker right over to her, get a beam on her chest, and it starts to power up. The other one that's in the back is going to go ahead and attack against for Shauna 1, 2, Sam 3, 4, Angela 5, 6, and we get a 4. Alright, that one's going to shoot at Sam. Oh, these target pylons are not liking the U.S. Marshal. So they're going to go ahead and attack her. The first one up is against our gunslinger, Yvette. And it needs a 3+ to hit her. And it gets a 5. Alright, so this beam of light shoots out at her. It's going right to her. And it's going to do D6 worth of hits. 1. Oh my gosh. Just one little beam comes out to hit her. She needs a defense of 5. Oh, but she misses. So she's going to end up taking 1 damage. So there's 1 wound for Yvette. So she now has 3 wounds on her. The target pylon on the back is shooting at Sam. And needs that 3+ to hit her. Alright, so it gets a 4. So that big beam is coming out at Sam. And then it's going to split into how many little pieces? 4. So the big beam of light breaks into 4 little pieces. And now she's got to do a defense with a 3+ against 4 of them. Okay, 1, 2, 2, and a 5. Alright, well, she gets hit by 3 of them. And let's see here. Alright, she's got this Rune of Shadows. And it is attached to her hunting rifle. And this says as a bonus, use 1 grit to ignore the damage from a single enemy hit. Okay, so Sam is going to go ahead and spend 1 grit. Alright, so that's going to remove just 1 of the hits from those little lights. And with that, she's going to end up taking 2 damage from the other 2. So that is 4 more wounds for Sam. So she's up to 8 wounds at the moment. Alright, well that's going to end the target pylon's turn. Now before we get down to the end of the turn, Angela being next to Sam, she's going to go ahead and use an herb on Sam. And the herb is going to do 2d6 worth of healing. Alright, so Sam is going to get healed up of 5 wounds. There's her 5 wounds. And that's going to leave 3 wounds on Sam. So that's going to end step 2 for our heroes. We go on to step 3, room exploration. And they already explored the room. And finally, step 4, end of the turn. And if there's any cards or abilities, and Shauna has the comforting presence, but she's way up north there, so it doesn't look like anyone can do anything in step 4. So with that, that's going to end step 4, and also turn 23. So let's go ahead and go back to the beginning with turn 24. Now before continuing on, it looks like it's time to go Technicolor. Well, I guess if you consider gray to be Technicolor, Here we got the target pylons all painted up. And they got some color on them, but mostly they are gray and covered with some snow. So if you'd like to, you can go ahead and check out the playlist Miniature Painting for the completion of these models. Now last turn, I found a few issues. First of all, Yvette and Shauna both ended their move on the Hearts map tile, and when you end your move on the Hearts map tile, you're supposed to take 2 hits from the cascading energy surges. So I'm going to go ahead and roll for Yvette to see how she does with her defense rolls. So Yvette has a defense of 5+, and let's see if she makes it. I got a 3 and a 6, so she makes one of them. Now she does have that armor 4+, so let's go ahead and see if she makes it with this one that she failed on. Okay, so she gets a 2, so she didn't make it. So with that, she's going to end up getting another damage, and she'll get another wound. So I'm going to put that on her character sheet. Now she has 5 wounds. And then Shauna, she did the same thing, so let's go and roll for her defense rolls, and she has a defense of 3+. Okay, so she fails 1. Now Shauna, she has a starting upgrade, the acrobatic dodge, and this lets her reroll 1 failed defense roll. So I'm going to reroll this 1 to see how she does. And 3, so she just barely makes it, so she gets no damage. Alright, then Yvette, she failed her defense roll against the target pylon attack and only took 1 damage from the target pylon attack. Now there's a couple things here. First of all, she should have taken 2 damage. So this is the other damage that she would have taken. And the reason I say that is because, second of all, and I'm still not remembering those armored 4+ rolls, so Yvette is going to get 1 armor 4+ roll to save against those 2 damages. Well, so she rolled a 3, so she fails on that, so Yvette will get this other damage, so that wound makes it 6. So Yvette has 6 wounds on her character sheet now. And finally, the target pylons, due to the loss of initiative from the flash token, their initiative should have been reset at the end of the turn. So there's really no issue here because nothing happened at the end of the turn that the target pylons affected it. So everything's okay, so we're just going to go ahead and reset the target pylons right now to their correct initiative. So I'm going to go ahead and take the target pylons initiative token and put it right there. Go ahead and remove these flash tokens and the -2 initiative paper, and everything is good to go. Alright, with everything all straightened up, let's go ahead and continue on with turn 24. Let's go ahead and move our first player marker up to the gunslinger, and then have our saloon girl hold back the darkness. Alright, so we're going to need to roll a 7+ to hold back the darkness. And she got a 9, so good going Shauna, holding back the darkness. Alright, let's go ahead and move on to step 2, where models activate in initiative order. And first up is the gunslinger. So she looks and thinks that that target pylon in the back seems pretty beat up. Probably another shot or 2 and it'll get taken down. So I'm going to use a grit so that Yvette can use her starting upgrade, pistol fanning. So that 1 grit is going to double the number of shots, and she's using her pistol, and she has 2 shots, so she's going to roll 4 dice. She needs a 3+ to hit, so let's see how she does. Alright, 1, 2, 3, and 3. All right, well, she got her 3 plus, so she hit twice. And let's go ahead and roll to see how much damage she's going to do. All right, so 2 damage and 4 damage. Now the target pylons have a defense of 4, so that 2 is no good. And the 4 just makes it. But we're going to go ahead and use this Deadeye shot to add plus 2 damage. So that 4 is now going to be 6 damage. And take 4 off from the defense. That's going to leave her with 2 damage. And at the moment, the target pylon has 7 wounds, and it has a health of 8, so that's 2. Going to put it to 9. And this target pylon is going to drop. And rock goes flying everywhere. Okay, so that's going to do it for the attacking. And I just thought of this, that those cascading energy surges are starting to go underneath Yvette again, and she's feeling it in her feet. So she's got to go ahead and do a defense roll against those 2 hits, and she's got the defense of 5 plus. And 5 and 6, so she makes that, so she doesn't take any damage from the cascading energy surges. And next up is going to be the target pylons. As the target pylon is starting to power up its eye, Shauna sees that and remembers what Yvette did last time and said, "Hey, I got one of those things in my side bag." So Shauna goes ahead and pulls out a flash token here and throws it right there in front of that target pylon, and poof! The thing explodes and smoke goes all over the place. So once again, the target pylon is going to get reduced all the way down to an initiative of 2. So grab the piece of paper and the other tokens, place that there. Initiative -2. Take the target pylons initiative token and put it way down there. Poor target pylons. Poor target pylons. All right, well, the target pylons aren't going to be able to do anything, so next up is going to be Shauna. So she's going to go ahead and do her movement. Oh, and actually, you know what? Yvette didn't even try to do a movement. So let's see what she got for a movement, because she could get a grit back. And a 5. So nope, she didn't get the grit back. All right, now it's Shauna's turn for her movement. Let's see what she does. All right, she hit a 5. And then she gets that +1 for that ability of fast. And so she's just going to stay there. And she's going to attack with her holdout pistols. Now the first thing she's going to do is spend a grit. And the reason she's spending a grit is so that she can activate the upgrade to ready a once per fight item. So she's going to ready her holdout pistol, and she goes ahead and clicks the contraption on her right arm and spins it around, and it locks in place, and she points it in. She gives it a shot. This is going to only be 1 shot. She needs a 4 plus. Okay, so she gets a 5. And so that would be a critical, but since she is holding a gun in her other hand, and she's not like proficient with 2 guns, then she can't get a critical. So it's going to be a normal hit. And we'll see how much damage she does. And 4. So 4 is the defense on the target pylon, so it's not going to do any damage. But she does have this thing called War Stories. And she got this when she was in the tents. War Stories is once during the next adventure, which is this adventure, you may re-roll a damage roll for one of your hits. So she's going to go ahead and roll that. So hopefully she does a little bit better. And she got a 4 again. So, nope. That's not going to do it. So she doesn't do any damage with her holdout pistol. Now she's going to use that other holdout pistol, the repeating holdout pistol, and that has shots of 2. Oh, nice. Well, 5 and 6. So it hits both of them. So let's see how much damage this repeating holdout pistol does. All right, a 4 and a 6. Okay, well, the 4 doesn't make it because of the defense, but the 6 is going to make it, causing 2 damage. So we got 2 damage here. So it gets 2 more wounds, and that's a total of 6 wounds on that target pylon, and 2 more, and it is going down. Okay, oh yeah, and then I almost forgot the cascading energy surges under on Shauna. All right, so we're going to go ahead, and she's got to roll a 3+ on her defense. And she gets 4 and 4, so she makes it. So no damage from those cascading energy surges. All right, next up is going to be Sam, the U.S. Marshal. So the smoke is going, and it starts clearing, and Sam flips around the rifle and puts a bead on it. She got 1 shot, and she needs a 4+. And 5, that's good enough there. So 1 shot round goes off and flies towards the target pylon. And, ooh, 5 damage. Now the hunting rifle she's using, it delivers +2 damage. So that 5 turns into a 7. 4 off her defense makes it 3. And there's 6 wounds on the target pylon right now. And that makes it 9. And that target pylon flies to the ground and explodes. And that is it. Nice shooting there, Sam. And down the hall you hear Sam yippee yippee yipping, and she goes, "Rolling Thunder!" All right. Now Sam is off the Heart's map tile, so she does not have to do any cascading energy surges saving against those 2 hits. So she is good to go there. And with this is going to end the combat. So we're going to go ahead and come out of combat, and now our heroes are going to go ahead and catch their breath. And for the heroes that activated, which is Yvette, Shauna, and Sam, they're going to get D3 healing on the wounds or sanity, any mix. So for our gunslinger Yvette, 2, so she's going to heal 1, so she has 5 wounds left. And Shauna, there's 1, so she's going to have 2 wounds left. And then our U.S. Marshal Sam, good one. She's going to heal up 3. So that's going to heal up all 3 of the wounds that are on her. And she is all 100% healthy. Okay, so now the hero who didn't act, which is going to be Angela, she's going to be able to heal up D6 wounds or sanity, any mix, or recover 1 grit. Now she does have 2 grits at the moment, so she's maxed out, and she has 1 sanity on her, so okay, well, 6, all right, well, that's what she gets. She gets to heal up that 1 sanity, so our Bandita Angela, she's 100% healthy now. All right, and then, I forgot to do Sam's movement, so let's go ahead and roll for her to see what she gets for movement. And there's a 4, but she's just going to stay back there. And then next up in initiative order is going to be Angela. So she's going to do her movement. All right, 4, so she's okay. She's just going to stay there. And then with that is going to end our hero's turn. And then we need to go ahead and loot the area. So there's only one enemy that had attacked. Here's the enemy card, the target pylons. So each hero is going to get one loot card. Let's see what we get. For Yvette, she gets $50 cash. Alright, that's pretty good. And then Shauna, alright, this should come in handy. Right there, it's loot, gear, 20 XP, draw a gear card, or an artifact card if in the other world. So she'll be getting a artifact card. And then we get U.S. Marshal Sam. Oh, same one. So she'll get an artifact card. Ooh, a frozen isopod. What did Shauna get? Plasma arc gun, pistol. Interesting. Alright, and then last is Angela. She's going to get D3 Darkstone Rock. Alright, well, she doesn't like that. And because of her upgrade Swindler, she can go ahead and discard that. And then she's going to get another one. So she gets just one Darkstone Shard. And then she asks Sam to go ahead and hold on to that. So Sam will go ahead and hold on to that. And now Sam has 3 Darkstones. Alright, so let's go and clear this off. Alright, so Shauna gets a plasma arc gun, a pistol, and a frozen isopod for Sam. Interesting. Alright, well that's going to end step 2. On to step 3, which is room exploration. And they went ahead and explored the room already, so everything's good to go there. And then we move on to step 4, end of the turn. Any cards or special abilities. And Shauna, she's the only one that has Comforting Presence, but she's way up north there. So not going to be able to do anything with that. So then the target pylons, they're all down. So let's go ahead and remove them off the board. And the initiative's -2 from the flash token. Nice throwing there, Shauna. Good job, good job. And say goodbye to the target pylons. Well, that's going to end step 4 and turn 24. So let's go ahead and move on to turn 25. Now, before we continue on with turn 25, there were a few things that I lost sight on. Shauna used a grit to activate the upgrade chart ability, Sleight of Hand. Use 1 grit to ready a once per fight item you are carrying so that she could attack again with it for free. Instead, I used that free once per fight item to attack normally with it, not thinking that it was the free attack version. So Shauna would have had another attack, a normal attack to use, and might have been able to take down that target pylon and get more XP for herself. Then, when Sam took down that target pylon and yelled out, "Rolling Thunder!" she should have used her starting upgrade, Rolling Thunder, to see if she would have recovered a grit. So as you can see here, here's the starting upgrade, Rolling Thunder. Anytime you kill an enemy, you may recover a grit on the D6 roll of 4, 5, or 6. Alright, so let's go ahead and roll a D6 to see if Sam recovers a grit. Alright, so she gets a 6. So Sam is going to be able to recover a grit. And here's her grit. So that's going to give her 3 grits now on her character sheet. And finally, I'm still trying to get those rolls for the cascading energy surge hits and armor 4+ down. There's just so much to remember playing this game, so just bear with me. Well, that's going to do it. So let's go ahead and move our first player marker back up to the gunslinger, and then have our saloon girl, Shauna, hold back the darkness. Alright, so she gets a 10, and that makes it because all she needed was a 7+. So Shauna holds back the darkness. And now let's go ahead and move on to step 2. Models activate in initiative order. And our gunslinger is up first. So she's going to go ahead and move. And she gets a 4. And then -3 for all those things that are wrong with her. So she gets a 1. And actually that's all she really wants to do is just move right there. Now after her move, the cascading energy surges are pulsing into her feet, so she's got to go ahead and do a defense roll against the 2 hits, and she's going to need 5+. Alright, well she made 1, so she failed 1, so I'm going to go ahead and re-roll this one because she has that armor 4+, so let's see if she makes it with that. Alright, 5, so she made it. So Yvette doesn't take any damage. And now that she's over there, we're going to go into the search mode, and she's going to go ahead and do some scavenging. Alright, 2, 3, and a 6. So she's got a 6. So she's going to get 1 scavenge card. And here's the scavenge deck, and we got the scavenge token. So we're going to just put that right there on the map tile and see what we got. Something shiny. So scavenge. There's something back there. 10 XP. Roll a D6. Alright, see what we get. Alright, so she gets a 5. And a 5 is draw a gear card. Alright. Gear card, and she's going to get bandages. So gain 2 bandages tokens. Alright, let's see. Well, right now she's got 4 tokens in her side bag, and she can only have 5. So right off the bat, she's going to go ahead and use the one of the tokens that's in her side bag. And here's the other 2 tokens. I'm going to put those in her side bag, and now her side bag is all full. So now she's going to get D6 healing of wounds. She's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. She's got 5 wounds. See what she gets. Alright, 6. So she's feeling all nice and good now. All of her wounds are gone, and she's 100% healthy. Alright. Clear this off. Alright, so while Yvette was scavenging, she yells over to Shauna and says, "Hey, Shauna, go ahead and check out that portal to see where it leads. And I'm going to go ahead and stay here, and if I need to get over to the portal, I'll try and make my way over there as fast as I can." So with that, that's going to go ahead and end our gunslinger's turn. And next up is going to be Shauna, the saloon girl. So let's go ahead and do her movement. Okay, so she gets a 1, and then she's got that fast ability, so she gets +1, and that's going to make her move all the way up here. 1, 2, so she's right next to the portal. And then because of that, the frigid snow is going to cause 1 wound on her. There's her wound. Now she has 3 wounds on her, but then she's also going to get a grit. Here's her grit. Alright, and we're going to go into the search mode, and the tile's been scavenged already, so she can't do that, but instead she's going to go ahead and look through the door, or in this case, look through a portal. Now normally, if you had a bunch of different locations, you'd go ahead and take the world cards, fan them out, and then pick one randomly to see where that portal leads to. But we only have one card, and it's going to go to the mines. So we go ahead and just grab the map deck for the mines, flip it over, and we have a short passage. Alright. So there we go. We just put the little area right there. And then as Shauna's looking through the portal, she looks in there and goes, I think I see another mine location. So she yells back to everyone, says, hey, looks like this portal goes to a mine. So Yvette yells back at her and says, hey, why don't you go ahead and just return, and we're going to go ahead and check out that other direction across the T-junction. Maybe the flora and the fauna is in that area. So we'll meet you over here. Hurry back. And before Shauna's turn is over, she's got to go ahead and save against those cascading energy surges, the 2 hits. So she needs a 3+. Alright, so she made 1, she failed 1, and we'll go ahead and use the acrobatic dodge ability where once per turn you may reroll 1 failed defense roll. Alright, she missed it by 1. Alright, that cascading surge of energy is going to go ahead and cause her another damage. So there's another wound. So she has 4 wounds on her right now. Alright, so that's going to go ahead and end her turn. Put this up here. And next up is going to be our U.S. Marshal, Sam. So Sam yells over to Yvette, what do you want us to do? And then Yvette turns back and says, go ahead and move a little bit farther in. So Sam's going to go ahead and do her movement. And a 6. Okay, so all she's really going to do is just move 1 square. That's good enough for her there. Okay, for searching, she can't scavenge the T-junction passage because it's already been scavenged. And she's too far from the end to look through the door. So she's just going to end her turn there. So next one up is going to be Angela. And Angela's going to go ahead and do her movement. And she rolled a 2. So that's actually all she needs. So she goes 1, 2 right there. And then because of the world card, she's going to get a grit. But no, yep, she's maxed out. So she can't get any more grits. So that's all she's going to do for her movement. And then for searching, she can't scavenge the T-junction passage because it's already been scavenged. And she's too far from the end to look through a door. So that's going to end her turn. Okay, well that's going to end step 2. Next is step 3, room exploration. And they already explored the room, the heart. And they're trying to get away from it, going to the other side of the T-junction to see what's over there. So step 3, room exploration is done. And then we have step 4, end of the turn. Well, the only one that can do anything at the moment is Shauna, and Shauna's way over there on the other side of the room. So that's going to end step 4 and turn 25. So let's go ahead and move on to turn 26. Let's go ahead and move our first player marker back up to the gunslinger. Just move that out of the way a little bit. And then have our saloon girl hold back the darkness. Alright, she got a 3. Alright, that's way under the 7+. So she ended up failing holding back the darkness. So the darkness marker is going to go ahead and move up 1 number to space number 8, which is a blood splatter. And with that, we're going to have to draw a darkness card. And let's go and see what we got here. Alright, Strength of the Void. Keywords are darkness, boost, void. Got some kind of a tentacle creature there. And all void enemies are now +1 defense. Remains in play. Alright. So we got a lot of remaining in play items here. So let's go ahead and move some things around. Let's go to Darkstone Experiments. Put that over there. Heart of the City. We're going to be moving out of that map tile here pretty soon. Go ahead and put the heart card there. We got Demonic Speed. And then our Strength of the Void. Okay, well that's not good. Alright, let's see what we can do now. Alright, let's go ahead and go to step 2 where models activate in initiative order. And first up is our Gunslinger. And she's going to go ahead and move. Just try and get out of this. The heart with that cascading energy surges, pulsing them and hurting them. So let's see how she does. Okay, she got a 6. So that sounds really good, but remember she's got that -3 with all her problems, so she's only going to be moving 3. Also, she has that crisp rose that says anytime you roll a 6 for move, you may also recover 1 grit. Nice. So here's your 1 grit. Put that on our character sheet, and then we'll go ahead and move 3. So she goes and turns around. 1, 2, and 3 right there next to the other ladies. Now she's going to go ahead and spend that grit that she has and go ahead and do another movement. Alright, so she got a 5, so she must be moving really quick. I guess this part of the T-junction is had an angle going down. Anyway, she rolled a 5 minus the 3 is a 2. So she's going to go ahead and move 2 squares. And she goes 1, and then just right there. So she's 1 away from getting to the end of the tile to looking through the door. Alright, well, that's her movement. And she's off of the heart map tiles, so she doesn't have to worry about those cascading energy surges. And we go ahead and do searching. And the T-junction's already been scavenged, so she can't scavenge, and she's only 1 square away from looking through a door. So with that, that's going to end her turn. Next up, we got the Saloon Girl, and she is way over there. So let's see how good she does. Go ahead and do a movement for her. Alright, so we got a 4, and then she's got that fast ability, gives her a +1, so that's going to make it a 5. So she turns around and goes into a full sprint. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, now she's 2 squares away from getting out of the heart map tile. So we're going to go ahead and take that lonely grit that she's got, and we're going to go ahead and spend that grit. Go ahead and do another movement. Alright, just another 4. And so +1 from that fast ability gives her a 5. And so she's going to go ahead and move up here. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5. Way up there, right next to her sister, and 1 space away to where she's able to do a looking through a door. So she's done with her movement, and for her, she doesn't have to worry about it because She's not on the heart map tile, so she doesn't have to worry about those cascading energy surges. And then we go ahead and do our searching, but the T-junction's already been scavenged, so can't do that. And we're one space away from looking through a door. So with that, our saloon girl, Shauna, that's going to end her turn. And next up is the U.S. Marshal, Sam. And she's going to start off by doing her movement. And she gets a 5. So Yvette and Shauna are side by side. So they are blocking Sam from moving up to the front to be able to do a looking through a door. So with that, Sam is actually just going to turn around. So that's going to end her move. And then she's going to go ahead and search, but she can't scavenge on the map tile because it's already been scavenged. And she is way far from the end of the tile to do any kind of looking through a door. So with that, that is going to end Sam's turn. And last one up is our Bandita, Angela. So she's going to go ahead and do her move. And she gets a 6. So she goes ahead and turns around. Everyone's kind of all clumped there together. And she's going to try and move. But then as she tries to move forward, Sam grabs a hold of her dress to stop her in place. And Angela looks back to see Sam shaking her head side to side. A bit confused, but Angela agrees and stays in place. Alright, that's going to end her move. And then go to searching. And of course, can't do any scavenging because this tile's been scavenged already. And there's no looking through a door because Angela is still 2 spaces away from the end of the tile. So with that, that is going to end Angela's turn. And that'll end step 2 and go on to step 3, room exploration. So they are all over the place, not even at a room that they can explore. That's fresh to explore, so that's going to end step 3, and then move on to step 4, end of the turn. Now, if anyone's got any abilities or cards, this is when it comes into play. And now, several heroes are actually around Shauna, so Shauna can do her comforting presence. And we look at the character sheet of the gunslinger Yvette, and she has no wounds and no sanity damage, so she's good. And look at the Bandita, Angela, and she's the same way. She has no wounds and no sanity damage. So everything is good then. So with that, that's going to end step 4 and also turn 26. So let's go ahead and go back to the beginning with turn 27. Let's go ahead and move our first player marker back up to the gunslinger. And then have our saloon girl hold back the darkness. Alright, we got a 9. So that's greater than the 7 plus needed. So Shauna held back the darkness. And then let's go ahead and go on to step 2. Models activate in initiative order. First up is the gunslinger, Yvette. And she's going to go ahead and do her move. Alright, she gets a 3. And then she's got -3 for all those issues. But it is a minimum of 1. So that is going to move our gunslinger all the way to the end of that tile. Next, she's going to go ahead and do searching, so no scavenging available because the tile has been scavenged already. And then she's going to go ahead and hold off on looking through the door, and she's going to go ahead and just let Shauna do that. So that's going to go ahead and end the gunslinger's turn. So next up is the saloon girl, Shauna. So let's go ahead and have her move. Alright, so she got a 2. And being in the Targa Plateau, a 1 and a 2 is going to get her a grit. So first of all, she's going to go ahead and move, and she's going to move to the end of the tile. And then she's going to go ahead and get a grit. Put that on her character sheet. And then now her movement's done. And so we'll go ahead and do a search. And can't scavenge the tile because it's already been scavenged. And she's going to go ahead and do the looking through a door. So I'm going to go ahead and grab the map deck for the Targa Plateau. And I got my little cheat circle here that tells me to move that hero posse marker. And then we're going to go ahead and move that down 1 number to space number 10. And we have the furnace. Alright, so let me go ahead and find that map tile. Okay. And here it is. So it's a medium-sized one. And then we got to find the green arrow here that shows the entrance onto this map tile. And it's on the other side. And it's going to be this one right here. So right here is our entrance. So it's going to go all the way over here. And it's actually going to end up going off the camera scene there. So I'm going to go ahead and move some things around, and we'll go ahead and set up the furnace. Alright, there we go. We got our new map tile put down for the furnace. And here's the map card, where it's going to have 3 exits. And then it also has an advanced encounter. It's called Still Running. So let's go ahead and find that card. Here's our encounters deck for the Targa Plateau. And there's the symbol for the Targa Plateau. And we're looking for the card Still Running. Oh, there it is. Alright, so we'll go and just put that card right here at the moment. And because we put a new map tile down, I have to go ahead and put an exploration token down. There we go. And then let's go ahead and finish off our hero's turn, as Shauna did the second part of her step 2, which was looking through a door. So that's going to end her turn. Now while Shauna was up there next with her sister Yvette, with the 2 sisters just standing there, Yvette glances down and sees a weird gun hanging off of Shauna's belt. What the heck is that? Yvette inquires and points to the weird looking gun. A gun? Shauna replies, "Found it over by the portal. Never seen anything like it." Yvette states, "Does it work?" "I tried figuring it out, but it's a bit too heavy for me to operate it correctly. Gonna keep it though and practice with it. Maybe one day I'll be better than you." Yvette puffs and smiles. So what Shauna has hanging off the belt is the plasma arc gun that she found in the heart. And it's got keywords of artifact, targa, gun, pistol, and tech. It's got a range of 8 with shots of 1, and each hit counts as 2 hits on the target and 1 hit on each adjacent enemy. No critical hits though. And it has 1 weight. It is a single-handed weapon, and it cost $675. Excellent. Alright, so that's going to end Shauna's turn. Next up, we have the U.S. Marshal, Sam. So she's going to go ahead and do her move. Alright, so she rolls a 1, and that's going to do 2 things, good and bad. First of all, for the good thing is that with rolling a 1, she's going to end up getting a grit. And here's the grit that she's going to get. And now she has a total of 4 grits on her character sheet. And I'll explain that here pretty soon, why she's able to have 4 grits. And second of all, because she rolled a 1, she's going to end up taking 1 damage with no defense roll. So there's her damage. She gets 1 wound. So now she has 1 wound on her. Alright, so that's going to end her move. And then the second part is her searching. But the T-junction's already been scavenged, so she can't scavenge it. And looking through a door has been completed already by Shauna over there on the furnace. And the other 2 exits off the T-junction already have areas that something goes to. So that's going to end our U.S. Marshal's turn. And finally, we have our bandita, Angela. Now she's going to go ahead and do her move. And she gets a 3. Alright, so that's good enough for her. And actually what happens is Angela starts to move forward. So she was going to go ahead and just move forward here. And then all of a sudden, she hears this psst, and turns to see Sam slowly gesturing towards the room and mouths the words, "That's the room." Angela's eyes widen above her veil, and she turns to look at Yvette and Shauna, then slowly takes 1 big step backwards. "Are we going to be okay here?" Angela asks. Sam acknowledges, stating that the 2 ladies are blocking the exit, and we should be out of reach of that huge creature inside. Angela then slightly jumps as something inside Sam's side bag kicks. "What's in your side bag? What's moving around so much?" Sam states, "Big money to the right buyer," as Sam secretly looks around and opens the side bag for Angela to see. "Hey, it's Ice Block," Angela states. "You know this thing?" "Sure. Did you find it just inside of the room we came from, off to the right, tucked deeply behind some rocks?" "Yeah," Sam answers. "But how did you know that it was there?" Angela replies, stating that she found it in that room last week when we escorted those prospectors up here, and then got attacked by those large bipedal lizard creatures after they came through that portal. But it was just too weird for me, so I hid it behind some rocks and found something else." Angela then looks back into the side bag and states, "Looks like it has melted sometime since I left it. You better be careful." And what they're talking about is that Sam has this frozen isopod. And the keywords are artifact, targa, creature. And Sam is going to get +1 lore So now she has a 2 lore, and then she also gets a +1 max grit. So that's why she has a max grit of 4. And then it says at the end of each adventure, roll a d6. On the roll of 1, the isopod thaws and wakes up, attacking you. Discard and make a Strength 5+ test. If failed, roll once on the injury table. And it's got 1 weight and costs $300. Okay, well, Angela finished her move, and then she's going to go ahead and search, but the T-junction's already been scavenged, so she can't scavenge it, and there's no looking through a door because, as I said, Shauna already looked through the door for the furnace, and the other 2 exits off the T-junction already go to other 2 places that they've been to. So with that, that's going to go ahead and end Angela's turn. So we'll go ahead and go to the next step, which is step 3, room exploration. And at this moment, we're going to go ahead and stop the video here. So join us next time as we find out what the exploration token has to offer for our heroes as they enter into the furnace.